Welcome to the Squared Circle Gridiron. We don't break the news, we read it so you don't have to. I'm excited to be here today, here with Ron. Ricky is still pulling a Sid Vicious. Softball season is upon him. Free agency is upon us. This is one of the craziest times of year. I love this time of year as a football fan. You got NFL teams just blowing money. They're burning it on the table, and we just watch the fire. Ron, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing good, man. It's been yesterday. I was still dizzy with all the freaking updates and transactions, man. My finger was hurting from hitting and texting you and other things and stuff, man. But this yesterday was probably one of the craziest free agency days I remember in a long time for some reason. I don't know why, but it just seems like nonstop, man, nonstop, and crazy
They
shit too.
Nonsensical stuff. I want to thank everybody for taking the time to join us today to talk some NFL action. I am super excited. Yes. Hello, Miss Pat Motorhead, everybody else out there in internet land. There were some prize. There was a theme yesterday. Stay with me on here, Ron. There's a
Let's go.
theme. There's a gleam, man. No, there's a theme, man. There's a theme. If you don't get the gleam reference, go back, check it out. Um, we have heard the last couple of years about NFL running backs in the league and how they're no longer valued. And NFL running backs shouldn't have to do a 3 or 5 year contract because their careers are so short. And I tend to sort of agree with that, right? Like their careers are really short. A lot of these guys, they grind their knees in the dust by year 3 and 4, and there's just nothing left for them. Prime example, if you want to take one, is Williams for the Denver Broncos, right?
Yeah. Yep.
First 2 years as a rookie, he was pounding away. He got hurt, and he didn't look the same last year. So you never know with these injuries. But yesterday, the money came rolling in. Not a lot of money. Nobody broke the bank. Well, one player broke the bank. We'll talk about him and Saquon Barkley. But running backs got a little bit of money yesterday. I was kind of surprised to see it. I was more surprised to see how many teams switched up on their running backs. Green Bay comes immediately to mind. They went with a younger Josh Jacobs with a little bit less wear and tear on him, but he doesn't give them the passing ability that maybe they had with Jones. What did you take away from the first round? What was your biggest surprise? That was mine, was the running backs playing patty cake and getting paychecks.
Oh, big time. Jacobs too, especially Jacobs, because the Raiders had a contract on the table for him. Double digits, everything, or triple digits. But I think what they probably came a little bit lower than Green Bay. So when I saw that come across, that surprised the shit out of me because that came out of nowhere.
I don't
And then
even know.
I think he has shown glimpses of being a pass catcher, but I think they want to go more to a power running game too. So what they're saying is now they could actually go to like Mike Shanahan, LaFleur, that table or that system more better
Well,
because of Josh Jacobs.
Did you see the breakdown? It's a $12.5 million signing bonus. It's essentially a 1 year contract.
Yeah.
Which, as it turns out, is exactly what Aaron Jones signed, was essentially a 1 year contract with Minnesota. So we saw a lot of these 1 year deals breaking down left and right. The big one was, of course, Saquon Barkley. He got a good payday. Like there's no way around this. He's averaging, I think, somewhere around $13 million a year for the first, I think, 2 or 3 years. I think it's like a 2 year guarantee deal, essentially, is what it breaks down to. I was excited to see that, and I'll tell you why. I know you and I differ on how Barkley will work from here forward, given his injuries and some of the things going on. But I do like him in this system for one big reason. I don't feel like they're going to ram him up the middle like they did so much in New York. I feel like they're going to get him out in space. He's going to get back to having maybe a 50 to 60 catch season, get him more involved, because the short passing game, as Sean Payton showed us with Alvin Kamara, can work in the NFL with a running back. It's essentially a long handoff. Little 3 yard out, see what happens. So I'm excited about this. I don't know that you could get more than 12 games out of him a season at this point in time, but I will be very curious about this dynamic. Very curious. Very intrigued to see how the Eagles build on this.
Same here. And with him running behind actually an offensive line that's good, that he doesn't have to break 3 tackles to just get to the 2 yards, is a big difference. Now, I wonder what they still have Rashad Penny too. So I wonder how many touches he'll take from Barkley if they'll make it less stressful for him. But I think he could, if a good season for him next year will probably be about like 1,400 total yards from scrimmage.
That's what I'm thinking too. That's I think the nice round figure. If they can get him, I would say if they could get him 500 yards receiving, that would be like their sweet spot. So he's not cramming up the middle every time. Yeah. That's a big get for them. It sort of feels like they're retooling the offense versus totally rebuilding it. They did bring in a center, the Eagles did, which I thought was a big move for them. They didn't try to make one of their Pro Bowl guards a center. They didn't try to make one of their all pro players something that they're not.
Who they bring in?
I thought that was a solid. I want to say if you hadn't asked me, I could have told you. I want to say it was a Jaguar center or somebody like that. I can't remember. They brought in somebody.
Oh, interesting. I thought they already had a center in waiting.
I saw they signed somebody. I might be wrong and might be getting them confused. Look, the free agency was breaking left and right. I'm trying to keep track of it here right now. There's more going on. What did you just get before we went live? I had to look this up because I had heard nothing about it.
I saw that. I just saw something about Daniel Jones being released as a June 1st designation.
And this is important because they just signed who today, as we all know? Well, some of us know.
Drew Lock.
Drew Lock is coming into the New York Giants Big Apple. He's going to put his backpack on, and he's going to ball, baby.
Hold on. Justin Jefferson turned down a $30 million contract.
Yes. That was something else that came on. I want to talk about that in a little while because Minnesota's in a weird place right now. I want to talk about that shortly.
Yeah.
The first big signing yesterday, or the biggest signing yesterday to me, was one that we talked about a month ago on the show. Kirk Cousins is a Falcon. I said that about a month ago. That made the most sense. They have weapons everywhere. They just don't have a quarterback. And now they're sitting on a top 8-9 pick where they could possibly get another weapon to add to that team or, and hear me out now, get a pass rusher to get after the quarterback.
Yeah.
I feel like they have something now. And I know some of our viewers are not Falcons fans. I know that. Calls them a poverty franchise. But they have something now. I mean, they've got a quarterback. You don't know how he's going to be after that injury. You always wonder about that. I'm curious about this because that was a lot of money. And here's the other thing to take away from the Kirk Cousins deal, right? Kirk Cousins, to this day, has one playoff win in his entire career.
Yeah.
If he doesn't make another dime in his life with this $100 million guarantee, do you know how much money he's made?
$411 million.
$380 million, but that's without his salary right now. That's just what he's guaranteed right now.
Yeah, I saw 411. And I was surprised it's a 4-year contract too. That surprised just on me.
I was kind of surprised at that. The $180 million is what got my attention. That was like, yo, that's a big pot of money. 100
million guaranteed.
Who do you think? Well, look, Chris Jones never got to test the market, right? So Kansas City was smart about it. I don't know that I've given him a 5-year deal. That seemed, I don't know, man. Look, 30-year-old defensive linemen, I am not big on giving those guys big contracts. That's just me personally. When it came to Von Miller in Denver, I was one of the guys saying I don't really want to give that guy a huge contract. He's been great for us. But once you hit that magic 3-0 on the scorecard in the NFL, man, it might be one season, it might be 2 seasons. But typically, especially on the offensive and defensive line, they fall off quick.
Yeah, but that was 3 years, $95 million guaranteed. So theoretically, after the 3 years, then they could cut him and not take that big of a hit.
There were some other guys out there moving around. The running back we talked about earlier, running back from Philly. He goes to the damn Bears. The Bears running back. Didn't he go to Buffalo? I think I read. I can't remember where I saw he went.
Which Bears running back?
One of the Bears running back left. I can't remember which one it was. Either way, it doesn't matter at this point in time. I'm trying to get to where.
Yeah.
I want to talk about what happened with the damn Bengals yesterday. The Bengals come out and announce they're going to release Joe Mixon after they just signed the Colts running back. And then turn around today and say, no, we're not going to do that after all. We are going to go ahead and trade him to the Texans because I think the Texans were on the Saquon Barkley bandwagon.
Yeah.
So it was crazy to watch this all unfold from a fan's perspective. What were some of the things you noticed where you were like, wait, what the hell just happened?
Well, that surprised me. And that surprised me. Christian Wilkins signing with the Raiders surprised me. That actually made me happy too. That's a pretty decent contract.
That's a big contract.
Yeah, yeah. I'm surprised there's so many, like Daniel Hunter and Justin Jefferson or Justin Simmons, and some of those guys are still out there. I'm surprised. It seems like there's been more offensive players gone. And I think that it was weird too. As running backs were going off, so were offensive lineman positions too.
And guards, guards getting big money yesterday. Guards were getting paid like good tackles, not great tackles, but good tackles. That caught me off guard when I started seeing that. Like they were picking them up. But your Rams went and got a guard and paid him some pretty good damn money.
Yep, and they already re-signed Dotson prior to that, and their contract was less than who's the other big guard that just signed? Somebody signed.
Cushenberry. So that was the one that got my attention. Yeah. The Titans gave Cushenberry a shitload of money. And look, I'm a Broncos fan, right? I'm gonna see it from a fan's perspective a lot of times. Cushenberry was not a great center in my opinion. He was ranked between 20 and 27th. I saw on a lot of websites. I haven't seen the guy particularly impress me with his run blocking ability. He snaps the ball and just sort of stands there. Like he's not a pulling center. He's not doing anything crazy. The guards and the tackles for the most part have been the guys that really move that offensive line. So when I saw Cushenberry get money, that would shock me. I do want to get into a couple things that I did notice yesterday. The Vikings are in a weird position right now, right? The Vikings are in the weirdest position I've ever seen, man. Yeah. They signed a lot of talented defensive players yesterday. They clearly saw our defense sucks ass. We have got to do this, and we've got to do it quickly, while at the same time lose their franchise, so to speak, quarterback. You can say whatever you want about Kirk Cousins. He wins a lot of football games. Don't get it twisted. He does. But they lost him and then signed a bunch of defensive players. And now they went and got Sam Darnold, right?
Yeah. They tried to trade for Sam Darnold last year.
Yes, they did. And that's sort of where I'm at is. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
He's been on their radar. So I think it's because of they saw how good he fits in that system. That's pretty much the same system, that the Rams run. I need one of those right there.
Dude, right now it's on. I'm itching like a dog on the carpet.
I'm all distracted now. But they like the Rams. So the Rams and Falcons will run the same system. Vikings run the same system. Niners pretty much run the same system.
Right, they all do. They all run that Shanahan style.
Yeah, so that's gonna be a nice fit for him. We'll see. He's just gonna be a bridge. We know that.
I saw the report come up yesterday at like 2:00 that it was almost imminent that that's where he was going. So I wasn't surprised by it, but it also tells me they want to trade up in this draft and they want to move up a long way and they want to get a quarterback. And the other part of this that got my attention was the Giants announcing they're going to release Daniel Jones as a post-June 1 cut. Tells me they're in the quarterback playoff position. Only one of those teams can move up into the top 4 to get a quarterback. Only one of them is going to do it, right? That's it. And whoever doesn't get that third quarterback is going to be the guy that you're going to have to reach for, like a J.J. McCarthy. You're going to have to reach for one of these guys that we don't particularly think, you and I don't particularly think is a first-round grade quarterback. And when you start reaching for players in the draft, when you start reaching, you get fired. That's just how it works. When you're desperate, you get fired. Put out a good team, the best team you can. If they tank and they're not any good, so be it. If you feel like you're a player away, that's when you make the run at the quarterback. The Vikings are not a player away. They've got a really good offense, but a rookie's not going to be the one to take them there, in my opinion. It's going to take time with that. So one of those teams is going to be chasing McCarthy, and the other one's going to be chasing trail dust, so to speak. One of them's going to be left out in the cold. And I think the Giants got a much better shot at moving up. Who do you think is going to walk out of this draft with a top 3 quarterback? Do you have the Vikings or the Giants walking out with a top 3 quarterback from the board?
Vikings.
You think they're going to give up the goose to get up there, huh?
Yep.
So
because the only reason why is because they're closer. They're a lot
They are
closer.
closer.
That's why. If they weren't as close, then they wouldn't. But because they are that close, that they will. And their division, Detroit's good. Detroit made a good move, trading for Davis yesterday.
Yes, I want to give him that a little bit. Yes, but go ahead, because that's a solid point. Detroit got better yesterday by doing one thing. They looked at their cornerback position and said, "This sucks. This draft might not have the guy we need. We know this guy can play in the NFL. Let's go get him."
Yep.
This was a huge weak area. So you think Minnesota is so much closer than the Giants, which I can't disagree with. I think they are too personally. I think they've got a legit shot.
And plus when you see they see Green Bay sign Jacobs, that makes Green Bay that much better too than last year. So that's
you really like that Green Bay signing, huh? You like that one?
Yeah.
Okay. I got concerns about Josh Jacobs for one reason. It's not that he doesn't run hard, right? It's not a matter of talent. It's a matter of how many hits he's got on that running back body already.
I agree. I'm not going to disagree with you on that. Yeah.
Like
he's got a lot for a 26-year-old.
Yeah. And the other part is, look, man, he's not the swiftest of feet. He's a hammer. That's what that guy is. Adding Green Bay in November, December, I get that's what you're going to need is that hammer. You're going to need that hammer to go up the middle and get you 3 tough yards. So if he can stay healthy, I think it's going to work out, but I do got concerns about that. The Giants are in they're in a complete rebuild at this point in time.
Yeah.
They really are. They've got some pieces on the offensive line, I think, that if they're healthy, they have a good offensive line, but they haven't been healthy. And that's a big, big deal. Well, look, the boy from Georgia a couple years ago was great at left tackle.
Yeah. Right.
And then he got hurt, and he wasn't the same after he got hurt last season. He looked completely different. So I'm excited to see where that goes. The other part that I heard coming into the day, and this might blow your mind, one of those top 3 teams is looking to move back.
Yeah, Patriots.
The Patriots.
Yeah. And actually, if you think of it, it makes sense because they have so many holes. There's so many holes that they have to do that.
Oh, dude.
Because if they don't do something like that, then it's going to take them a little bit longer to rebuild. Because look at who have they signed? You would think they would have gone after
They got Jacoby Brissett.
Okay, well that's good. That's good.
Look, here's my thing.
That's a Band-Aid, bro. That's a Band-Aid.
Here's my thing, man, and I'm going to say this, dude. If you believe one of these guys is a franchise quarterback, you better take him. You better take him.
Oh, I agree. But I read something that some free agents are talking about how Eric Wolf, the GM or the person in charge, is playing hardball. So a lot of the free agents aren't wanting to sign with him because of that. So and he comes from the Green Bay system, doesn't he? In Green Bay,
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know, but I think he did.
Yeah. So think about how Green Bay drafted.
And that's sort of my thing is, you don't have Bill Belichick anymore, right? Tom Brady's not walking through that door. You've got to start over and you've got to build a new way of how you win. You are sitting there in the 3rd position, ready to draft one of the 3 quarterbacks here that I believe all 3 of these guys are going to play well in the NFL. I truly believe that. And it's been a long time since I can say that. Next year, we knew last year Drake May and Caleb Williams are going to be top 2 picks.
Yeah.
We knew that last year. This was not a questionable decision. This was these 2 guys, if they came out today, would be top 2 or 3 picks at a minimum. We knew that last year. Can you look ahead next year and tell me one quarterback, let alone 2, that you know is going to be a top pick? Does any of them come to mind?
Sanders.
That's it, though, right?
That's it. Yeah,
and that's it. And that's not guaranteed. That's if he continues on this trajectory. Because let's face it, that poor kid got the shit beat out of him this year.
Yes, he did.
We don't know how good he can be or how good he was. Because he held that ball a long time because he had to. I mean, he just had to. So that's the only guy that comes to mind. The only other one is maybe the Duke transfer that went to Notre Dame. But he was more of a runner than he was a passer.
But the kid from Georgia, what's it, Beck?
Oh, no, I don't think Beck will be an NFL.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. I didn't. When I looked at him, I didn't see that. I saw he might be able to play in the NFL one day as a backup, but his arm wasn't the biggest I've ever seen.
Ewers too. Ewers, the Texas
Ewers,
kid.
Yeah. We've seen enough of him now to know. We've seen that, I think, now to know. Right?
Yeah.
Like when you saw Ewers play this year, did you think immediately that guy's got first round talent? I just said,
no, not first round, second round talent. Yeah,
that's what
second,
I'm saying.
Third,
so
yeah.
last year we knew these two kids that are going in the top 3, by the way, would be going in the top 3. If you're the New England Patriots, you can't miss on this, man. You cannot trade out. And here they are. They apparently they're open for business. They want to trade out of this spot. And I'm kind of shocked by it because this is how you screw your franchise up for a long-term run. It really is. When you start chasing players instead of filling needs, whether you get more players or not as a result, you still have a gaping hole at quarterback. Right? You're not fixing that. Jacoby Brissett's not winning you a Super Bowl. You have to take one of these 3 kids, and we know Caleb Williams in that.
Yeah,
exactly. So I'm kind of shocked when I saw that today. The other part that happened today that quietly happened, Washington Commanders tipped their hand on who they're going to draft. Thank you all again for joining us. I'm excited it's NFL all season, man. It's one of my favorite parts. The Washington Command. Go ahead.
Who?
Jesus Christ. Coach Zaxby is back. He said Colin Kaepernick just bought his Zaxby's. Welcome aboard. I'm excited. The Commanders signed Marcus Mariota.
Right.
Did you see this?
Yeah.
All right. Knowing this now, who do you think they're drafting?
Daniels,
because that's the style, right?
Okay. Oh, yeah.
They're not going to have to change the style if this kid gets hurt or if he doesn't start the year. That's sort of what I saw. I was like, they're getting Daniels. Like, they're absolutely getting Daniels in this position now. Washington's going to pick him second. There's no way that they don't now. They've got the exact same offense running that Mariota would be comfortable in. So when they transition, it's so easy. There's nothing missed. The whole team's running in sync. I am excited for Washington right now.
You know what's funny about that too is I've read things that Steelers aren't Steelers. Geez, the Patriots aren't high on Drake May.
Yeah, I know. I saw that too, which is absurd to me.
Yeah.
You're not high on a 6'4", 230-pound gunslinging quarterback. Oh, by the way, he's also super mobile and can put it anywhere on the freaking field.
Don't you guys play Josh Allen freaking twice a year? You don't.
Hello, McFly.
Hello,
McFly.
Hello, anybody out there? What are they smoking up there, man?
Dude, I got no idea. When I read that, I was like, how could you not look at Drake May and think, okay, he looks the part? And look, I honestly believe that the Vikings and the Giants, that's the guy they have targeted because I think the secret's out now on what Washington's going to do. And they know if I can go get Drake May in that spot, I'll throw the house at it right now. If I'm Denver, I'd think about throwing the house at it. Here's 3 first-round picks. Let me get this guy because I have got to have a quarterback.
God, that'd be it.
It's going to be costly.
I know.
I'm willing to bet it's going to cost you at least 3 first-round picks. I really do. The other part of that equation. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry, man.
No, I'm thinking in my head too that it will because they'll have their nuts in their freaking in a vice. You know.
Yeah, I mean, look, Denver is in salary cap hell right now, right? Like they cannot afford to change their mind. They don't have a quarterback. They don't. They have an offensive line. They've got some running backs. The kid Mims from last year. So I'm rambling on, but I'm excited to see how this all plays out because I do believe you're going to see some people making a run at that number 3 pick. And the sooner the better. And speaking the sooner the better, the Justin Fields situation is becoming a soap opera, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think we're starting to see why Justin Fields has not been traded so far. The NFL is sending us a signal right now. The NFL coaches and GMs are not as high on Fields as the media would have liked you to believe when this offseason began. They're not. They're just not. They're not big on them. They don't think he's got it. They don't think he's accurate. He's looking at possibly being a backup now wherever he goes because the moving dominoes have played out. Everybody's chairs have stopped, right?
Yeah.
Any team that needs a quarterback could have picked up the phone and nobody did. I think the Bears are asking way too much, and I think they're going to have to change their price. We talked about this. I want to know your opinion. Why do you think everybody was so enamored with Justin Fields just a few months ago, and now you can't get a hot dog for the guy? I think, honestly, I think the media blew the guy up. I think the media was all over this guy.
Exactly. Yeah, they blew him up. And then you think teams go back and look at film and stuff and start realizing, oh, no, this might not be it. He's not going to fit my system. So now what? Now he's in the position he's in. That he's going to be a backup?
Exactly. Like, he's a big, strong quarterback, right?
And I feel bad for the kid. I do. I feel bad for the kid because something, I don't know. Maybe if he sits, maybe say, okay, let's say the Rams trade for him, give a fifth, and he sits behind Stafford for 2 years, 3 years. Do you think that would make a difference, or do you think he's just not good?
I don't know that he's not good, right? But I do have serious concerns about his passing accuracy. That is a humongous concern for me. It was a concern coming out of college, right? It just was. You look at his counterpart, C.J. Stroud, threw it all over the damn field when he was in college, hit everybody. C.J. Stroud showed you in the game against Georgia his last year of college, he was NFL pro ready. He was slinging that damn thing against guys that went in the first round that year with him. It was crazy to watch. I don't know that Fields is that guy. I just don't. And I think that the Bears fans fooled themselves. They drank the Kool-Aid. They think they can get a second-round pick for him at a minimum. And I don't know they get more than a fourth-round pick right now. I just don't think they can. That's just my.
I don't think so. I think you're right.
So that was one of them. The other big takeaway, Mac Jones got shoved out of New England, and he's down in Jacksonville. That's weird to me, man. That's a weird trade to me. That trade made very little sense to me in every aspect. You have 2 rookies now on 2 rookie deals at quarterback.
Yeah, but if I text you and told you my thought was, and this is still my thinking, is the fact that they had Beathard as their backup quarterback.
No, I get that. Like I get
so
that.
they have somebody that's solid. That now if Lawrence is hurt or has an ache or whatever, then they could put somebody in that can play. And I bet he does good in the Doug Peterson system too.
I just look at what some of these other guys signed for, like a Jameis Winston. I felt like that would have been a better get than Mac Jones. He fits that more because he's got a bigger arm. Mac Jones is not going to be able to throw the ball where Trevor Lawrence does. For all of his faults right now, Trevor Lawrence can push the ball down the field and can put it in a hole when he needs to. He can. So that one sort of caught me off guard. The other aspect of this whole thing is Calvin Ridley. I want to get into this. So the Jaguars signed the magician. They signed the magician yesterday. You know who the magician is?
Gabe Davis.
Gabe Davis. You know why he's the magician?
Because he makes things disappear?
Because the son of a bitch disappears for weeks at a time, and you're looking right at him. I'm looking right at you. How are you disappearing every down? Every down, this guy disappears, so I call him the magician. It's insane. It's just insane how much this guy disappears. But Calvin Ridley, and a lot of people are starting to figure this out in the news, and this is what they're figuring out. The Jaguars will owe Atlanta a second-round pick if he signs a new deal with them before free agency begins. If he signs after 4 o'clock tomorrow, they only owe a third-round pick.
I didn't know that.
A lot of people didn't.
That's interesting. That's interesting trade.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah. So wait.
That's why he hasn't. That's why he hasn't signed. He's not going anywhere. Just to break it all down, he's going to stay there. But he hasn't signed so that his team doesn't have to give up a third-round pick. A second-round pick.
That's interesting.
Crazy to me, right?
Yeah.
I saw that little bit of news today, and I was like, "Wow, that's nuts." I had no idea.
I was wondering why he didn't sign with the Patriots, because the Patriots evidently offered him a good contract, but he's been saying I was going to kind of stay with the Jags.
The Patriots are like the Chicago Bears. If you are a wide receiver, your career will go there to die. It will never recover from going to the Patriots or the Bears. Right now, they're trying to bury that poor kid from his name escapes me. That they traded last year from Carolina out there. That poor kid struggling like hell all year to make himself. DJ Moore. Trying to make an impact for him, man. Dude's struggling. So Sorry about that. My dog just went full idiot mode. So that was one of the things I saw with Ridley. That one caught my attention. The other thing that caught my attention, your Los Angeles Rams put an offer in for Burns last year. Carolina defensive end.
Yep.
Offered multiple first-round picks, correct?
Yeah, 2 first, a third, and a fifth. Yes, they did. And what happened? Talk to me.
They traded him to the Giants yesterday for a bag of snacks. Like they've got magic beans. They got a second rounder out of him, and that was it. That was the highest thing they got was a second round.
Yeah. Second and fifth, right?
It doesn't matter. Whatever the other pick is, it doesn't even matter. You had 2 first-round picks. You don't have a first-round pick this year. You just screwed the pooch. Like, look, man, I hate to say it, but the Panthers have to be the worst-run organization in the NFL right now.
Oh, God, right now, big time.
Like, they are stepping on their own junk left and right. They cannot get out of their own way. Larry, I know you say the Atlanta Falcons are a poverty franchise. I'm going to go ahead and give a vote. Carolina is the poverty franchise of the entire NFL. They cannot quit screwing this up. They get the wrong quarterback last year. They don't keep the best player on their team this year. They get a bag of beans for him this year. He gets paid $100-something million. He's one of the highest paid guys. Blows my mind. What the hell are you doing, Carolina? And then they give a guard $1 billion. You're giving guards $1 billion, and you let your best player walk? What the hell are you doing, Carolina?
And the guard they signed was rated below the guard that the Rams signed.
God, man.
I think it's the owner.
It has to be. I think we have the new Dan Snyder of the NFL. He's right in Carolina, screwing the pooch left and right.
Yep. He's getting. Yeah, Jonathan. Was it Jonathan Owens, Simone Biles' husband, signed with Chicago?
Yes, I did see that. Okay, I did see that. Look, I'm going to go ahead and name this out. The worst free agent team so far. I thought it would be my Broncos because they can't spend any money, right?
Right.
It's Carolina. It's absolutely Carolina. I don't give a shit what you say. Carolina is in hell right now.
I'm not going to disagree with you.
Carolina could be sitting on the clock right now looking at Caleb Williams. That's who they could be looking at. But they got greedy, traded up to the first overall pick, and got the wrong guy. So this is blowing my hair's blown back, baby. Hair's blown back. I'm in amazement at this whole shit show that is going on right now.
Well, and they draft last year. They draft him without knowing what they didn't have. With the offense line and offensive weapons and stuff for the kid.
You know what they don't have? I figured out what they don't have.
Common sense.
The whole goddamn team. They don't have a team.
No, they don't.
They got a good safety and they had a good pass rusher, and now one of them's gone. So you can't ask the safety to pass rush. You just can't. That's not how this works. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works.
So the safety, Von Bell, did he get released then?
No, I'm talking about the rookie, the second-year player last year. Steve Atwater's nephew plays for the Saints. I can't remember. I mean, plays for the Panthers. I can't remember his name right now. But he's a do-it-all. He's a jack of all trades. He's a lot like his uncle. The dude is a hammer. He's all over the field. There was something else. Oh, the Tennessee Titans are just – I don't understand the Tennessee Titans either. We already talked about Cushenberry. Then you let Derrick Henry go, and we're going to talk about Derrick Henry in a minute. But you let Derrick Henry go and sign Pollard.
Texans. Daniel Hunter with the Texans.
Yep, there it is. Good for them. Oh, I want to talk about that. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But Tennessee is having a shitty offseason. There's no other way to put it. You lost a legendary running back. You really did. Your offensive line was trash last year. Injuries galore. Guys that were past their prime were still there. They started releasing a lot of those guys in the offseason. Derrick Henry took a beating out there, and now you bring in Little Pollard, whose best play is the swing pass. Like, that's what he is, right? He's a speedy back. Dallas found that out the hard way this year when they tried to plow him up the middle like he was Ezekiel Elliott. It just doesn't work that way. That's not what he is. I don't know what the hell. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Is he going to be RB1 or is Tajay Spears to be RB1?
That's the other. I don't have a clue.
I don't know.
Like, I don't have a clue. I would assume he is because they paid him some pretty good money.
Yeah, you would assume, but I don't know. I
Those
think,
are the two.
I think the Cincinnati Bengals haven't done shit either.
They traded one guy.
If you think about this too, they waited until the Titans signed Pollard, right? Because if Pollard would have been signed by Titans and they released Mixon, he would have been gone. He'd gone to Tennessee because that's where the OC went to. But
True.
the Bengals,
I mean, it would have been a natural fit. Yeah.
The Bengals signed Giuseppe, and re-signed their other tight end. I think that's about it for the Bengals.
Zach Moss.
Zach Moss. Okay,
Zach Moss. They haven't done much.
Then with Zach Moss, you had Chase Brown that came on really good towards the end of the season last year. Who's RB1 in that system, in that team?
I think they're gonna draft. And here's the thing, right? So I did a lot of research on this. The running back class this year is bad. It's just not a good class.
Right.
It's really not a good running back class at all. They're really down on that. That's also why you're seeing a lot of this shit going on, man. So I also want to talk about Cincinnati a little bit because T. Higgins came out and said, and I can't wait because some guy tried to bust my balls on Twitter yesterday, like, no, man, T. Higgins says he wants to stay in Cincinnati. No, he said, trade me. T. Higgins came out and said, I love it in Cincinnati. Trade my ass out of here. You don't love it in a place if you ask to get traded. That's an oxymoron. You don't ask for a trade if you love it where you are. You ask for a trade if you go, that son of a bitch is cheap. I've got to get paid. I've got a short window here to get my biggest payday. And I have not taken a home down discount when I know Chase is going to have to get his payday here in a year or two.
Yep. Next year. If not this year.
Here was my argument. I would like for you to back me up or come at me, bro. My whole thing was T. Higgins is trying to save face. That's all he's trying to do. He is trying to save face. He is trying to not look like the bad guy, even though he secretly wants to get the hell out of Cincinnati. It's been nice. I've got to get paid. This is a cheap franchise. They try not to pay anybody historically. The owner is terrible. I need to go somewhere else to get my payday. What do you think of that? Because that's my take. He's trying to look like the good guy here.
Oh, no, I agree with what you said. I agree. He is trying to look like a good guy, but he's not. I don't blame him for wanting to get out. He knows he's not going to get what his money's worth, and he's all along said, I'm a wide receiver one, so he wants to go on a team that will use him as a wide receiver one. But, yeah.
What do you think? So I think he gets traded. I really do. I think he does get traded before it's all said and done. I think you could get a second round for him and maybe a fourth, like somewhere in there. But here's why. He's a first round talent. Don't get me wrong. He is a first round talent. But you can't trade a one and give the big contract. Like they don't work like that in the NFL. I could give you two. I can't give you one early. Maybe a late one. If you give me like a 3 in return, we could work something like that out. But I can't give the guy a big money contract and give you my number one pick that's going to be dirt cheap for the next 5 years. Because that rookie first round pick has that 5th year option. And this is a big draft for wide receivers.
So what do you think? What do you think a contract would look like? Like maybe 3 years, $75 million, and
it's going to be a 5-year deal. It's going to be a 5-year.
5-year.
Yeah, it's going to be like a 5-year. 3 years are pretty much guaranteed for $90 million. Is what I'm thinking. $30 million a year guaranteed.
Okay, that's a lot.
That's sort of 5 years, 150, $90 million guaranteed. Signing bonus, I should say.
Yeah.
So that's where I sort of am. The best team that's having the best offseason right now, in my opinion, it's the Houston Texans. I think they're killing this right now.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You've got something to say about this, clearly.
Well, I just saw the Daniel Hunter signing with them, and then
which is a big get.
And then training for Joe Mixon was good. That's good. And if I was Kansas City, if they kill the draft again, like they have been doing, if I was Kansas City, I'd be getting a little nervous about Houston.
I probably would as well. Houston is. I'm getting goddamn music going on here, trying to look at the Texans website. Goddamn Texans, man. What do y'all got going on here? I go to look at your free agent signings because you've been killing it, and you screw me with Mickey Mouse shit. Pricks. I don't need that trash. But yet, no, they signed Daniel Hunter. Big get for them, and he's apparently getting a huge contract. Like, he got paid. They kept tight end Dalton Schultz. Another big get. They kept their kicker. They kept their cornerback. They kept their defensive tackle, their safety. And they brought in some pass rushers as well to fill the gaps on some of their players. So I've been watching what they've been doing, man. I have been highly impressed with the Texans. This is the team I can't wait to watch next year. I think they're going to be a force in the playoffs. I don't think they're going to be – I think once they get healthy, I think they're going to be sitting pretty. And by the way, they might add in this draft like another offensive player or two. They've got some areas they can move around in. Now, I think they even have a first-round pick, if I'm not mistaken, from Cleveland.
Yeah.
So they've still got some money to burn, baby. Roger Goodell. What?
That's just a gift that keeps on giving. Freaking being on Cincinnati.
Who is?
The Browns. That's just a gift to keep on giving, man.
Well, look, they made the playoffs this year.
That's a poverty freaking franchise, man.
Look, they made the playoffs, man. Yeah, you can talk it all you want, but they made the playoffs. Joe Flacco. They dusted Joe Flacco's ass off and brought him in and rode his ass into the promised land of the playoffs. A place Cleveland has not frequented offense.
And because Watson was jealous of his winning and how he got along with his teammates, he went to the front office and said, "Don't sign him back. Get Jameis Winston. Bring Winston in."
That is true. He clearly didn't want Joe Flacco back in that driver's seat. That might have made him a little bit uneasy.
Yeah.
So I've also seen Michael Pittman got franchised and then he got paid, so at least they worked that out. It was only
that's a nice contract.
It is a nice contract, but here's the thing: he gets to test free agency again with that 3-year deal, which I think was part of his thing. Is I'll give you 3 years, but if you don't fix this shit, I'm out of here. Like I'm not wasting my career. Don't forget, his old man played in this league. He knows about people wasting talent, wasting careers, so he wasn't going to do that.
Yeah.
There's still some big name guys out there that can still help you win. I mean, I'm pretty excited about some of these guys. Where do you think Tyron Smith ends up? The ex-Dallas Cowboys left tackle.
The Rams.
Is that a homer hat you got on? Let me see.
No. Just beautiful hit.
I don't know that he ends up there. I got a hard time believing that. I got a hard time with that.
I think if somebody jumps on Allard Jackson, then they'll sign him. And then they'll draft an offensive tackle. They'll sign him to a 1-year contract and then draft offensive tackle.
Okay, we're gonna see. We're gonna see. There was a couple other little news and nuggets. Was there what is it that's really on your mind at the end of this thing here? What were you watching that really got your attention either yesterday or today that we haven't covered?
That a lot of the defensive players are still out there. I thought Justin Simmons has been gone by now. I
did too. I am surprised.
I thought Poyer would be gone by now. I thought Ladarius White, or whatever his name is, from Buffalo, I thought he'd be gone too.
You saw that Shaq Barrett got signed by the Dolphins today.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a good gift for them because they got both their defensive ends now coming back from major knee injuries. And by the way, Bradley Chubb, this is his second or third major knee injury, so you really don't know what that guy's going to be about next year. So this is sort of a incentive type thing. I think they're kind of worried. You got some big names out there, man. Jonah Williams is out there. He's a free agent. You've got Kevin Zeitler's still out there. DJ Reader, if you need a nose tackle, I'm excited. Yeah. I'm looking forward to see where this goes here the next couple of days. The other big thing we didn't talk about was Russell Wilson found his new home.
Right. What home was that, Don? What home was that? What home? Talk to me. Talk to me.
He's with the Steelers. He's with the
Steelers. Louder.
Steelers. He's with the Steelers.
Louder.
I can't. My voice is not shot. It's not that it surprised me that he went there, right? I'm not surprised.
Right.
What I am surprised about is people trying to say, oh, he's going to be so much better now. He's going to be great. Fam, I got news for you. As much as I love Mike Tomlin, and he's an all-time Hall of Fame coach, what's his track record on developing quarterbacks or resurrecting them? I think he's 0.
Yeah. Zilch.
He inherited Big Ben, and he rode that out as long as he could. And I don't blame him because quarterbacks are hard to find. They are. And I'm not saying Mike Tomlin's not a good coach. He's a great coach. He's a Hall of Fame coach. Have I made this clear enough for anybody to be like, you're just saying that because you don't like Wilson? He's a great Hall of Fame coach. I have yet to see him develop a quarterback or fix a veteran quarterback. They had Trubisky. He's a veteran. Trubisky said, I got to get the hell out of here. I'm going back to Buffalo. This is a shit show. I can't do this anymore at quarterback. Y'all's offense is ass. I'm out. Yeah. I watched Russell Wilson decimate my team last year. I said it all last year to anybody that would listen to me about football. He was checked down Charlie. He threw to his running backs last year 120 times, I think, or 114 times to the running backs. 100 and something times. And that's just the 3 main backs that we had, let alone the guys that were playing H-back or tight end back there. Judy and Sutton outpaced the running backs by, I think, 10 catches.
Oh, damn.
He doesn't see the field anymore. So anybody that's in Pittsburgh thinking you just got the next coming, I have news for you. There's a reason they signed him to a minimum year deal with 1 year. So if he sucks, he's out of here. We don't have to pay this guy. Denver's already on the hook for shit tons of money. Make them pay this guy. We'll give him the minimum. I'm curious how this is going to work. I will be watching this very closely because I watched what he did in Denver. I watched it.
Right.
He just couldn't sustain drives anymore. It was just terrible. It was check down to the running back, check down to the running back. So I don't want to harp on it more, but Pittsburgh, I wish you as fans luck. Invest in your local alcohol market because you're going to need it this season. Your liver's going to take a beating. Get some liver oil. You're going to need it.
See it, Jordan Poyer signed with the Miami 1-year contract.
Who did?
Just Jordan Poyer, who we were just talking about.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah, Miami for 1-year contract. Yeah.
All right. Well, Miami had to make some moves. I'm excited about this. The big winner to me, though, and we're going to talk about the last one, Houston. And I'm going to talk about it and saving it for the end because this is the big one that happened today. Baltimore got a running back finally. They don't have their quarterback playing running back anymore.
Yeah.
And for everybody saying, well, Henry's best days are over and this and that, I don't think Baltimore is going to ask Henry to carry the ball 300 and something times like they did in Tennessee.
Right.
I don't think that's going to be the case. By the way, Baltimore also has a really good offensive line. It's a damn sight better than what they had in Tennessee. And if Baltimore's smart, they can get some offensive linemen in the first and second round of this draft and make it even better.
Yeah.
I mentioned the Smith kid from Dallas because right now Baltimore's in a stalemate with their left tackle. And they got to figure that out because he has not been healthy and he's getting paid way too much money right now, in my opinion, for a guy that hasn't seen the field the last 2 years. Like a lot of damn money. Like insane amounts of money. So he could be a cap casualty. You bring in Smith for a year, you pay him, whatever the market value dictates, and you draft his replacement next year. Because there's going to be some offensive tackles at the end of that first round going to shock you. I think that Oklahoma State kid's going to be sitting there for him. I really do. Or the Oklahoma kid.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see what becomes of Henry going into Baltimore. People trying to say, he's washed up, he's this and that. Guys, Henry was still pretty effective last year. He was still a hammer in the middle. And by the way, they're going to have to go to Buffalo. They're going to have to play Buffalo. They play in Baltimore. They're going to play Kansas City. It's going to be cold. And there's some psychological advantage that you can have when you turn around and go, I don't have to carry this thing up the middle every time now. I got this hammer behind me. This hammer can come in here and rupture tendons up this hole and make everybody pay in this cold. Because after about 10 tackles, it gets kind of old. Oh, shit, Lamar Jackson just slipped out the back door to sneak. What the hell was that? I'm excited to see this version of the Ravens take over. And if I was running the Ravens with that first pick in this draft, I'm moving up to get that kid out of LSU. One of those two kids from LSU. One of those kids from LSU. Let me say it again. One of those wide receivers from LSU. Right. Go get him, Baltimore. Go get either one of them, and you will never regret it.
Yeah, no shit. And his contract was good too. They didn't overpay.
No,
that's what surprised me too. Was it averaged out to what, 10 million?
Something along. I think it's a little bit. I think it's like 9. Something along
9.
Those lines. Yeah.
I know it's between 8 and 10. I know that. So that's a good contract. They didn't overpay.
You know what this tells me is that Henry's tired of playing on a losing team and said, "I'll take less money to play with a quarterback like that." Yeah. That I can help in any way I can. I can get the load off of this guy. He doesn't have to be the primary running back. For the first time in his career, I think, other than when he was injured, Lamar Jackson in a healthy season next year finally doesn't lead the team in rushing yards. That's going to be a welcome sight to a lot of fans out there. And I'm looking forward to watching this happen. I really am. I'm going to see what they do in the draft. God knows, as a Bronco fan, all I'm praying is that they trade back. Please let Denver trade back. Get as many picks as you can right now. It's time to get the hell on out of here. Speaking of trying to get the hell on out of here, you got anything else?
Yeah, you know who else has had a really bad free agency? The Cowboys. What have they done? They have no running back.
Did you read why they're in this position right now?
No, other than Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones.
Right now. They're in salary cap hell right now with Dak Prescott's contract.
Oh, really?
They are in salary cap hell. It's the last year of the deal, and he's not looking to redo it. Like, he's not looking to restructure. He's going to get his money. Like, he played on the team-friendly deal for the first 4 or 5 years of it, and this is what they were saying at the end was, that thing balloons like an old bad mortgage, and it's time to pay the damn bill. And they don't have enough room to get anybody, man. Like, they're in a bad position right now financially.
Bad.
I mean, it's hell when you've got a couple $1 billion sitting in the bank and you can't do anything with it to make your team better. Like, can you imagine Jerry Jones just throwing shit in his house, kicking the cat? I got $150 million in cash assets for the team, and I can't do it.
It's kind of a beautiful thing if you think about it.
It is absolutely gorgeous that this keeps happening because he insists on being the GM every year. It's the absolute best to watch this franchise. They're all on the cusp, right? We can agree on that.
Yeah.
They are there. They are a playoff team. They are in a Super Bowl window, and they've been there the last several years. They don't have the money to do anything with now, cap-wise. It's the damnedest thing I've ever seen.
He's the Al Davis of this time. This is what Al Davis would do. That's why the Raiders sucked ass for so long.
Well, in the end, Al Davis, let's face it, might have been a little on his meds there.
A little bit.
Might have been a little on his meds. That's all I got for free agency. It was a lot to cover. I know we didn't hit everything, but I wanted to hit some of the high spots, so to speak. Get my shit in, pal. You got anything else you want to talk about?
No, man. No. Good.
Thank you all for I thank you all for watching. Johnny Bottles, thanks for the cover art. I came up with the idea and he put it together. I thought it's the funniest shit ever. Roger Goodell laughing at hundreds of dollars burning, because that's what we do. It's the NFL all season. Let's spend money like greedy bastards that we are. Everybody have a good evening. Like and subscribe.
Late.